friends. Welcome inside our NBA Today studios here in Los Angeles. This is NBA Today. Yeah, Perk, we're on. This is NBA Today on YouTube. This is the extra bits, the behind-the-scenes bits, the stuff that we didn't get to.
Stop saying bits.
Basketball bits. No, that doesn't work.
Yeah, we're not going to. All right, no more bits. Zach Lowe, Malika Andrews, Chiney, Ogwumike, Kendrick, Perkins. We were talking in the newsroom about what we should discuss on our YouTube segment today. And I don't know if you guys know this, but Zach Lowe unequivocally gets to make these editorial decisions.
I merely am asked, and I provide an answer, a suggestion. No one has to follow it. I have no power. I'm a peon.
You have all the bits of power here. The Celtics
there we go.
are 18-5. And we don't talk about them nearly enough. And I think it is because at this point they're a team that is judged by the postseason. They have cruised in the regular season before. Perk has mixed feelings about their season thus far this year. But, Zach, I'll let you start us off with why you think that we need to dedicate today's YouTube segment to this.
No, look, obviously Draymond and that story became the story of the week. But I just said I was looking at the standings like, who should we talk about? Who should we talk about? And I said, I've been on the show 4 days in a row. I don't think the word Boston has been said one time. And, like, they're 18-5, top 10 in both offense and defense. Their starting five is the best lineup in the NBA. And I guess it's just boring because they win all the time. And like you said, this is a team that's been in the conference finals like every year, seemingly for the past 5 or 6 years, and hasn't gotten the final step. And, you know, I get we're waiting for it, but I think this is a totally different team. It's not the same team of the last 4 or 5 years. It's Porzingis, it's Holiday. It's an interesting team.
So on the topic bar, it says, according to ESPN Analytics, the Celtics have a 20% chance of winning the title. Is that too low? Is that too high? Where do you put that, Perk?
I think it's just right. And the reason that we don't talk about the Celtics enough is because, again, you were right, Malika. They're a team that's based on the postseason, right? Like, we saw this movie before. We saw them have the best team, best depth last season. And I'm looking up their upcoming schedule. Like, tonight they have the Magic. Then they have the Magic on Sunday, the Warriors, the Kings, the Clippers, the Lakers.
Big road trip.
Right. We know what happened the last time they came out west last season when RJ and I was on here arguing, and he called it out. I think with the Celtics, I still have questions with their depth. Yes, Jason Tatum is in the MVP conversation. Porzingis hasn't been fully healthy, but he's been in the lineup, right? But it's been questionable. He's in the mix. Like, I need to see him in the mix.
Well, when we think about, you said in the mix.
No, I do.
No, I hear you. When we think about the best teams in the NBA, it's the Nuggets, and I do think that the Nuggets, the only issue they have is championship hangover, meaning we're pacing ourselves for June, not necessarily every road game. Perk makes a great point. The Nuggets, when it comes to playing at home, and if they have the home court advantage, which right now the T-Wolves would have, they're just even harder to beat based on the altitude. You look at the Nuggets, they're complete. You know, their starting five is really nice. You look at the Celtics, their starting five is really nice. I think that they've had trouble trying to figure out, all right, how are we going to have Tatum be his best self, also Jaylen Brown step up when he needs to, and then make sure everyone else is playing on point too. The reality is, I like this addition with Kristaps Porzingis. I think it provides that necessary relief. I think starting off the season, his shot blocking has really helped, but then even more so, the ability for him to spread the floor for this team has allowed those guys to be their best selves. I like their construct. I like the Nuggets better. I don't know if, Zach, you're saying that the Celtics are better than the Nuggets constructively? But the Nuggets have Jokic.
Is their depth good enough? Like, that's been the question, right? So they have a starting six, Joe Mazzulla has said. It's not just that, though. It's when you look past that starting
And that's what
six,
the Nuggets have that the Celtics don't.
Right.
Well, I think the Nuggets have to prove it, too. You know, they're relying on a lot of young guys who are playing very well right now. Peyton Watson had a huge game last night. But, look, I'm sorry about who's better. My finals pick before the season was Celtics over Nuggets. So, like, obviously the Nuggets are amazing. Celtics are they're just cruising along, playing really well. And I'm hijacking the conversation because this is a good Perk-centric topic. They're playing the Magic coming up twice, you said?
Yeah.
Big one.
You know the Magic have their number.
I know.
The Magic have their number.
Yep.
Did you hear what Cole Anthony said on the Low Post podcast about why they get so amped up for playing the Celtics?
No, I didn't. Please remind us and the audience.
He said Eddie House, your former teammate, on a different podcast called the Magic garbage, and they bookmarked that. So Eddie House, of all people, has lit a fire under the Orlando Magic, and they beat the Celtics like 4 of the last 5 games.
Well, I mean, Eddie House is a 2008 champion.
He
right?
is.
I mean, you know.
And he knows how to push the buttons.
But I think about the Celtics and why they don't get enough recognition is because they let's be real, the Eastern Conference is weak. Like, the Milwaukee Bucks are not living up to standards right now. Well, I mean, we could kind of credit the Philadelphia 76ers, but after that, we talked about the Cleveland Cavaliers. They sitting at 13-12. We know the New York Knicks is a second-round exit. And I know, yeah, we can never count the Miami Heat out, but do we really believe they're going to have a magical run like they did last season?
The Heat could be 0-25, and I'd be like, yeah, they might get it together.
Right,
Who knows?
right.
But if they fall short, if the Celtics fall short, because the stakes are high for them.
Oh, they better not.
Well, what will happen if they do? Do you think they're going to have to make the calls of, the Jays, they still work? It's not worth even discussing really at this point in the season, but it feels like that's the conversation that'll come up once again.
That's the conversation that they're going to have. And that's why, like, the Celtics have basically, in my opinion, positioned themselves so that if it doesn't work this season between Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum as the two guys leading the charge, now all of a sudden you're not getting rid of Jason Tatum. You can find someone out there that will be willing to take Jaylen Brown, even with that massive contract. Now all of a sudden you have Drew Holiday and you still have Derek White, and you could get some pieces back, and now all of a sudden you keep Jason Tatum happy, and now you try it again.
And I guess this brings me back to this idea. This brings me back to the idea of, like, when do their 2 years really start? Because I feel like when you get Drew Holiday, he's one of those guys that knows how to deliver a championship surrounded by great players. Does it start this year or does it start next year? Because we all know that it's hard for, stars to come together and win that first year. Now, I think with the Celtics, we had that expectation without Drew, which means we feel like it is a now thing. But I do think that Drew playing his best version of basketball, which right now it seems like he's just trying to fit in, get back to his game. He is forced to be efficient because he doesn't get many attempts when he's surrounded by this type of star. And then also Porzingis, like, if those guys are playing great basketball, this is the best team. But if they don't get that, does that mean next year you have to look at other pieces, or do you run it back? I feel like you sort of have to run it back when you have a team that talented.
The answer is now. It's now. I mean, this team is built to win the title right now. They've come close to winning the title multiple times. It's now. And I just want to apologize to Boston fans. Because here I am, I'm trying to do a nice thing. I'm saying, let's talk about the Celtics. And inevitably, we get to, they're going to have to break up the Jays if they don't. And so I want no part of it. I reject the whole conversation because we talked about, like, what does success or failure look like for the Celtics, right? And you're tempted to say, well, it's championship or bust or finals or bust. But if you don't achieve that goal, the manner in which you fail matters, right? So if you get to the finals and you lose a 6-game slugfest to Denver and everybody plays pretty well, that matters. If you get to the conference finals and maybe the Bucks get one more guy and Giannis has a monster series, 7-game series you lose, like, that's fine. You don't have to panic.
Exactly.
Zach, that matters in cities like Detroit.
Oh, here we go.
That matters in cities like Milwaukee. But that don't matter in cities like Boston and Los Angeles, okay, when it comes to the Lakers and Celtics. They're not trying to hear how it happened or, it ended this way. No, they're not trying to hear none of that. They're called a city of champions for a reason. And this Celtic team is built to win now. You look at what you gave up. You gave up Marcus Smart, former Defensive Player of the Year. You gave up Malcolm Brogdon, Robert Williams. You gave up a lot of depth and a lot of guys that been in the trenches with you to bring over a Porzingis.
I do agree.
To bring over a Porzingis who haven't really proven to none of us that he's ready for that playoff-type moment.
Wait, but I think that's a little unfair because
I'm so
the whole
sorry,
point
Boston
is
fans.
I think that's a little unfair because the whole point of him joining a team like this is so that he doesn't really have to shoulder the load of trying to carry a team. Like, he can now sort of take some time, miss a game if necessary, so that he's available later on. I think the part that you're right about is that based on what we've seen from Milwaukee or even the Sixers or something like that, this team is constructed to come out of the East. So if they don't come out of the East, then they're going to take a lot of criticism. But the West, I mean, you've still got the Nuggets. You've still got teams that are just as formidable. So I don't think it's a complete bust if they lose.
There is a very clear path right now, and a lot can change, for the Boston Celtics to be the team that represents the Eastern Conference. Zach Lowe this segment was your idea, and I thank you for that idea. You know what else was your idea?
No.
On NBA Today, on what day is it? Thursday, we had to litigate what happened between the Milwaukee Bucks
Look how handsome
and
that guy is.
the Pacers. Yeah. And we've gotten a lot of questions. What's with the fedoras? Why are two lawyers who are arguing both sides of the Pacers-Milwaukee ball bonanza wearing fedoras? And the answer is because Zach Lowe wanted them.
Okay. So look. It was presented to me that we were going to be detectives, and I said, let's get a couple like old school detective movie fedoras. Yeah. Then we became lawyers,
and then
so the hats made no sense. But it was funny to have hats for some reason. And you're lucky. You probably don't know the SNL skit Main Justice, where
lucky.
Jason Sudeikis is a judge and he does the whole thing in a bizarre Cajun accent. I was going to do that for the show, and then I said that's too crazy. Not enough people will get the joke. The hats stay. The hats are good.
Sorry.
I like the hat.
I am nothing if someone who looks to base the show around facts. I am a journalist by trait, and in the pitch that was sent to you from our producer,
Greg Condas,
kicking around a potential treatment surrounding the Bucks-Pacers game ball incident. If we do a deep dive investigation, is there a side that you would rather?
Investigation, we're detectives.
There's nothing that says that you're a detective in here.
Lawyer's
an investigator.
I rest my case, Your Honor.
Wait, I won the trial. You can't rest your case against me. You said I won.
Zach, you was the perfect lawyer. You know what lawyers do well? They investigate and they lie.
Patrick.
Well, that's not nice.
Oh, good catch. You are the prince of props, Zach. The prince of. Oh wait, let me try. I didn't get to wear it last time. Wait, go ahead.
Why am I going with Michelle?
Thank you. Well, I don't know if it'll fit.
Yeah, you started to do the People's Court, and then it turned into something else.
We've taken so many turns on this. She's Carmen.
No, wait, hold on. Go back to me.
San Diego.
Go back to me.
Now she's
I'm Beyonce.
All right. And now we have officially gone off the rails.
This Maine justice.
NBA Today here on YouTube.
Watch out for them gators in Maine.
You can see us at 3
Maine justice.
on ESPN. Please,
Crawdaddies.
please get us off the air.
This is too much.
Wanna try to boast at what I look like. Think I'm gonna try to wear I pull up all brains. Jimmy with the heat, I'm on fire. The city over here,